Good day. Today is October 16th, 2020. It is 9 a.m. Eastern, and we're going to get started here on the Splinterlands AMA. Really excited about this one. There's lots of good stuff coming, predominantly land. So land is going to be the giant thing that will be sweeping across the Splinterlands world, so to speak. Okay, so what do I want to do? First off, we had a hard fork this week. I don't know if anybody noticed. The application was down for a little bit. We put it into maintenance mode just to make sure that if there was any craziness, that Splinterlands would be okay. As it turns out, there was a little bit of craziness. I don't know if you were following it, but there was as they were trying to get through the hard fork, there was a unintentional fork. So we were going from 23 to 24. 23 forked, and it wasn't supposed to. And that's because so many of the witnesses were running 24. It was kind of this bizarre circumstance. So we made the right call. We took Splinterlands down, and then even though that hard fork, about an hour after the 23 fork, 24 came along, and everybody switched to that. And then everything has actually gone surprisingly smooth since then. So I'm pretty excited about that. But so thank goodness the damn hard fork is over. We're gonna have a nice long many months before we get to the next one. I know that there's good stuff too that should impact Splinterlands for the next one. This one was like a relatively, I don't want to say it's too minor. They made some nice performance improvements. That was on the back end, so there's no front end facing things that you'll see from that. In fact, a lot of the hard forks are all just going to be back end changes, so there's stuff that you won't immediately see. But it made it cheaper to go run witness nodes, and that makes this whole ecosystem more sustainable. And we have our own chain ID now, so there's less confusion with anything Steam related. I know that's a dirty word around here, so we're not going to say that again. But anyways, we had our own chain ID. One of the things that I'm hearing from the devs that is likely going to get included in the next hard fork is resource credit pools, and that is fantastic. So I'm really excited about that because the resource delegation pools means that instead of delegating our hive power, we can delegate just the resource credits to the players that need it, and we don't have to do resource credits just to individuals. We can just have a big pool, and our players can draw from that. And so new players will, it's not like infinite. We'll set limits, but you can effectively play as much as you want as a brand new player and not have to worry about all that Hive blockchain-y stuff. So I think that's coming here. All right, so that was one major update. Cryptomancer, do you want to go talk through Phase 4 and just share what we put out into the world? Oh, I probably have to mute you or unmute you. I don't know if you have your mic set up. Are you there, Cryptomancer? Yeah, I think.
Hello.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Wait, no, I can't. I just had to switch you. Shoot. I can't hear you speak. I actually crappity crap. All right, here we go.
Testing. 1, 2, testing.
All right, go for it. Why don't you explain what it was that you just implemented and how it will impact players?
Okay, so Collection Power Phase 4 has been released, and that adds the Collection Power entry requirement to tournaments, which is an optional thing. So tournament creators can choose to enable that or not. And if it is enabled, when you go to the tournament details screen, you'll see the Collection Power clearly listed, what the requirement is. And it's going to be a subset of your total collection power, meaning that the entry requirement applies only to cards that can be used in the tournament. So, for example, if it's a gold foil tournament, then only gold foil cards will contribute to the collection power entry requirement. You'll notice those little tooltips about that if you're confused. And if you're thinking, well, I think I have enough collection power, but I'm not really sure, maybe I do, maybe I don't, well, just go ahead and try to enter the tournament anyway. If you don't meet the requirement, you'll get a little error pop up, and it'll say clearly how much of your collection power is contributing towards that entry requirement. So then you'll know. And you need to satisfy this requirement both when you enter the tournament and when the tournament begins. So you can't get around it by trying to, say, delegate a whole bunch of cards to your account, enter the tournament, and then undelegate it. Because then you'll get kicked out of the tournament once it starts. So no cheating that way. I hope this new requirement will help to make tournaments feel a little bit more fair and make sure that competition in the tournaments is exciting and fun. It's going to be fierce battling for the top spots. So yeah, that's that.
So we have there's two requirements now. One is league limits and one is collection power. What are your thoughts on why we're still requiring both as opposed to just the one, or only switching over to collection power?
So I think it's still good to have both of them because it makes the system more flexible. Rather than having just one or the other, it just adds some more options in how you can set it up and control what kind of people can compete in the tournament. So just as an example, you can do something really wild if you want. So you've got the normal entry fees, but then you could also have something, say, like you add a 5 million collection power requirement. So you could have an elite special tournament just for VIPs or something like that. Or conversely, you could put in some funny numbers and have some kind of fun themed tournament. And I've always been a big believer in having more flexibility rather than less flexibility. So the greater the number of ways we can combine things, I think the greater overall experience we'll be able to offer.
So in my tournament design, when I'm making tournaments, I'm thinking to myself, this game is partially proof of stake and partially proof of skill. So the getting a proof of stake requirement through the collection power, I think, is good, but it's not enough. I also want a proof of skill requirement through the league that you're in, and between those two, it covers like the two core parts of this game of proof of stake and proof of skill. So that's what I like. Saying they can't quite hear you, I'll turn you up, but I think that's enough for us to go talk through that now. I want to read one. That's one of the big things is, I don't know, Shaq isn't here to go talk through, but another major development that you may or may not have noticed is that the new player tutorial is now live. So you guys can go into the game and actually get into the new player tutorial. There's a I guess I can call it a bug. There's a minor bug for older players that have been here a while that don't have the Untamed cards, that you'll get stuck at a certain point if you don't own the Untamed summoners. But that's a bug that impacts older players, which wasn't one of the conditions that we set out for, like, oh, we really need to make this work for the guys that have been here for 2 years. That was not the plan. The plan is that, let's just imagine that there's a large influx of players that are going to come, and they understand crypto, but they don't know this game. We have to get them up to speed on battling. That's what this thing is built for. So the so there's that, and I'm seeing questions that it's derailing my train of thought on this. Anyways, so let me move on. We're going to be releasing a whole bunch of information about lands. We have an announcement post. I was hoping it would be ready for this AMA, but it's not. So all I get to do is give you kind of a teaser for this. This is the opening couple paragraphs. I just want to read this so that you can get all excited about what we're doing. So this section is entitled Exploring Pretoria. Since the time of the splintering, the elite Wizards Council has held firm control over the island of Pretoria and have placed powerful spells over it that prevent anyone from entering, with the exception of the sanctioned tournaments on Mount Mox. It is unknown as to why the Wizards Council so closely guards the island, and many suspect that even though they do not know what lurks there and what secret it holds. Recently, however, the Wizards Council has suddenly and mysteriously announced that they have given ownership of a portion of the island to 3 exploration companies under the condition that they send out expeditions and report their findings back to the Council. In order to fund these extremely complicated and dangerous undertakings, the exploration companies are each selling claims in advance to portions of the land that they expect to uncover. The first to embark on the expedition will be the Mothrock Goat Helm Exploration Company, led by 6 paladins of the Silver Shield and wrapped in secrecy. The second expedition by Tunnelworks Ventures will use powerful Venari burrowing devices to reach remote and mana-rich areas of Pretoria. The third company, Gobson Wagon Tech, is ready to set sail for Mount Mox with the largest fleet of wagons ever assembled by goblin hands. Both the claim sale and the land rush that follow will prove historic for the Splinterlands. People and monsters of all kinds will grasp for the land, the Wizard's Land. All right, so that's just a little piece to get you excited. I think I messed up 1 or 2 parts of that reading, but whatever. It's tricky to do this while trying to pay attention to everything. But that's it, man. Wizards Council is unlocking land. We'll have this full post out later today, and we'll have the land pre-sale viewable on site. There's still going to be a countdown, so we're not gonna start the land sale yet, but the whole thing will be visible with a countdown, so you'll know exactly to the second when this damn thing is going live. So I'm pumped. I think we've done just a ton of work in the design to really make sure that this thing is going to be a fun experience, and I can't undersell that. What we are doing is giving players the ability to mint cards in the game. And, in my entire experience gaming, Magic the Gathering never said, hey, dude, why don't you go print the cards instead of us? And Hearthstone never looked at me and said, hey, why don't you print the cards? Like, this is novel. This is something completely unheard of, as far as I can tell, that the players get to mint the cards. And we think that's huge. So I don't know. I'm proud to be pioneering this, and really think that it's a game changer and just showcases what we can do on blockchain that you can't do on a traditional server. In my brain, there's some boomer comment that happens many times a day of, well, blockchain is a solution looking for a problem. And I that to me is just this kind of comment that doesn't understand the power of what blockchain can do and how it does everything that typical servers can do plus more. So I'm just really excited about this and feel like we are breaking new ground, have a cool backstory, and there's just good stuff that we're putting into this land sale as a enticement for all the players that are here now. To make it big and help us attract new players. One little thing that I want to add is that there have been a bunch of people that noticed that we created tracks and regions as well on Hive Engine. We are deprecating zones and sectors. Zone and sector feels very, very futuristic, whereas track and region feels much more appropriate for what we're building. So we didn't add new land types or something. We just changed the nomenclature, but we had already made the tokens. So those two are going to go away. So so the lands are coming. I wanted to give you that brief update on lands. The post is coming later today, and by Matt's telling me, he doesn't normally give me dates. He hates dates, but he's telling me no later than Monday will the site be live for the land sale. That doesn't mean that the land goes on sale on Monday, Just means that you guys get to view everything that we're putting up about it prior to when the pre-sale starts. So I think that's the majority of the pieces that I wanted to give. Hard fork is over. New player is in effect. The land sale is going live, and I guess I should say our plan is for the big announcement to go live on Monday. So we're still being coy about what this is. We were asked not to share any details, so we're not sharing any details, but our announcement is scheduled and approved to go out live on Monday. So that's our new player funnel. So pretty excited about that. So let me go back up a bit and start going down through these questions. Will collection power requirements for gold foil tournaments be higher than regular ones? I mean, for League of Champions, it's 250,000. What about the wealthy Gambit gold foil diamond? It's a question for aggroed. I'm still poking around with this. I put in 2 tournaments this morning just to go. I guess I did it last night for this morning. I don't like making tournaments at night because my brain doesn't work as well, and I can't think through these things. I haven't really thought through how the collection power should work, so I kind of trimmed it back some for the tournaments that I created. So I don't know yet. If you have thoughts on what it should be, then feel free to go put some collection power thoughts together. I haven't made tournaments yet. I'm going to try to get, I guess, through this weekend, but anybody that wants to contribute and tell me what they think the requirement should be, I'm all ears. I've literally done no work to figure that out. So that's on my, I'll put up a couple of screwy ones for the next couple days, but I'll sit down and make charts and things. And if you guys want input in that, get it to me before Sunday. If low collection power players can't take part in the higher level tournaments, then why high collection power are allowed to play in the lower leagues? So it's because they bought their cards, and we've always said you're going to be able to use your cards. I do think that it's not good for them to be a novice. So one of the reasons why, like, I know everybody's like, oh, it's a money grab, you damn bastards. Why would you only allow current edition cards? You're the ruthless jerks. Well, part of that is also to make sure that, look, it's no legendaries at all, and it's current edition only. And that's not to be cruel to people that have purchased stuff in the past. It's meant to make novice as much of a fair fight as possible for the new players, while also not destroying the ability of the more seasoned players and people that have been here for a while from participating as well. But everybody's got only the current edition to work with. So I don't like it when I see the hardcores and the novice ones. I don't think that's good for the game. So we'll probably put in something at some point meant to deter there. But I really don't see it happening for all of the tournaments. Just really in particular novice. Let's not pick on the brand new guys their first tournament. The prizes are relatively small. Let's just leave that for them, and that can be part of the recruiting here. But nothing like that's been implemented yet. It's sort of on the radar, but obviously with things like land and guild tournaments, there's higher priority things than just that. But it is on our mind, and kind of like when we get little breaks, we'll start thinking through how that might be able to work. Will we ever see playable card versions of members of the Wizards Council, or have we already? The Wizards Council is not fully public or fully described, but I like that you're interested and want to know what that's going to be. I just don't want to share details at this point, but we have big plans for the Wizards Council. It's a thing. It's cool, and I imagine that you guys will dig it. Question: could you guys do a free non-NFT version of the game where cards are not tradable or sellable, but only available for purchase from Splinterlands, like a digital Magic the Gathering, but give a onboarding option or gateway into crypto? It could allow earned purchased non-NFT cards to be converted into NFTs if a certain dollar is reached. You could also show free players estimated earn amounts to incentive to jump into crypto. it's not a terrible idea. I mean, I think this gets back to what resources we have available. And for a couple of years, we've been saying, "Hey, we're going to go get these guild wars and guild tournaments, and we're going to get boss fights up and running." And so those are two of our highest priorities right now. Is just getting those things live. And so something like this, I see it as useful. But the challenge in a limited resource environment is that good ideas aren't good enough. They really have to be spectacular. So that's kind of a neat thing. I'm not sure that it's critical to the business to do that. And kind of gets us, I'm not quite sure how that fulfills the mission of getting people into Splinterlands and into crypto. I think it's better to just have them like start buying the real cards rather than the fake ones. I don't know. That's just my first pass. Not really certain, but I think that we have higher priority things, if for no other reason than we've been saying for a while, we are going to get you these things. So before we start going off on new ventures, we got to finish the older ones. All right, will the land pre-sale be beneficial to guild owners, guilds themselves on a separate level to individual players? That's I'm not sure that the phrasing of that question is perfect for me to answer, but there will be benefits to guilds. So guilds will have buildings that will be impacted, and there are things that will be beneficial to guilds. And separate, separate is weird. It's like in addition to, I think is a better phrase. Will we have the option of Splinter-specific tournaments at any point? Again, that's another one that we like. It's not, I don't know where that fits on the timeline right now. We do want to do that. And I don't know that those will be things that I'll set up for the game, but I do think that's an option that we want to allow players to go set up their own tournaments for. So I think that's a yes, but it falls into the category of like it's not life critical. So it's on the radar and it's something we want to do. We need to get through the backlog first before we start adding kind of these the nice to have features. Will there be extra devs to get this done? Yeah, we talked through this. I mean, it's a little tough to say exactly what the plan will be. Blockchain is a really hard place to forecast. So, if the land sale kills it and and Bitcoin explodes after the halving and it follows Plan B and all the altcoins do well, then there's a crap ton of money around here. Then yeah, there'll be legions of people helping. And if tomorrow everything crashes and there's a 60% decline, it's just my point is that it's really hard to forecast, and so I can't answer that right now. Let's see how the land sales go and see how the end of the year goes, and we can figure out. But yeah, I mean, we want more help and we want more people. So in general, we want to grow the number of developers here and grow the number of relationships. We just want to figure out a path that's sustainable for that. Question: how many lands will be sold in the first sale? Will be enough for everyone. So generally speaking, the goal of making good crypto stuff is ensuring that there's not enough for everybody, and so you gotta kind of have a scarcity mindset. So the post that will come out later will start describing some of like the exact numbers that'll go live later today. So I'm not going to answer that right now, but will it be enough for everyone? Ultimately the answer is it shouldn't be enough for everybody. That's part of the design. Land question: our cards are going to be working the land. When they are doing this, will they be out of play, can't use them in battle because they are being used in land game? Some of that's still to be determined. That's further down the road than where we are. There's a lot that still has to be designed, and we have to go back. So I'm not prepared to answer that one. And Matt will slap me if I do. So it's a good question. It's definitely in the land of what we're considering and how we want that to work, but it's too early to answer. How many plots will be enough for someone who wants to still be competitive but not necessarily wants to be lands whale? Well, technically, the land is separate. The land is about minting things and making things. If you're happy to just buy the cards, then like the items and spells, you won't actually need to participate at all. I just think that one, the game is going to be fun. Two, you're going to want to participate. Like people enjoy mining in crypto. This is all kinds of mining, all kinds of crafting. It's fun. But we're not. The goal is not to force everybody to do this. This is an optional pathway, and if you don't even want to buy the items and spells, just rent them. So, but there should be. It should be worth your while to go participate in all this because you, as a player, want to be the one minting all the items and spell cards. I mean, keep in mind we've sold millions of dollars of cards, and the cards themselves are worth many millions of dollars. So we're handing over the ability for you to mint that. I can't. I don't know how to describe that other than that's really badass for players. Oh yeah, I missed your earlier question. Sorry, Quantum. Is the mobile release still coming along with the big reveal? So what was he telling me? They hit some small snag. So they're working on a bug fix before they release, but we're a little bit behind because of the hard fork, but it's in the mobile release might not be on Monday and actually I can tell you mobile release is definitely not on Monday because the next step is mobile app submission. That doesn't mean that it's like going live. We still have to submit it to the stores. So they're pumping that out as quickly as they can. Hard fork delayed us a little bit. So, but we're back. We have one more kind of like bug funky thing to fix, and we're trying to get that thing out as quickly as we can. So I like to ask for dates because I know that as soon as I'm here, I'll get the question when mobile app, but I'm still stuck with soon. We're getting pretty close. When colossal marketing steps will be near future, would we see something like this? I don't think so. That's not what we're gonna do. Let's see the forecast question. The Uniswap promo is giving land out as prizes. Is this land from the first pre-sale batch and will receive any bonuses that the first pre-sale will give? Yeah, I'm not going to answer that because it's answered in the post. So so the post is coming out later today. I'm gonna have to punt on that a little bit. Are you happy with the way end of season rewards are currently working? Would you be willing to try something new, like having an end of season anytime tournament for everybody that managed to reach a certain rating during the season or something like that? I've been purposely punting on any kind of rewards thought until the collection power is implemented. Now that collection power tournaments is finally implemented and we're basically done with all the tournament stuff, I have to go get a couple weeks of just like figuring out how to make tournaments that have collection power part of them, and then we have to look at that data. I mean, I'm willing to go kind of do this. I'm looking to go do this and have things make sense, and relook at the prize distributions still making sense after we got rid of some of the dumb bots and started like making sure that the tournaments are more competitive. Like I'm willing to look. I'm just not there yet. So that's actually becoming relatively quickly on my radar. Especially because this weekend I have to sit down and write all these tournaments and put in collection powers and see how that goes. So it's on the list. So I can't tell you what I'm willing to do yet just because I don't have enough data. So what kind of tie-in may there be between lands and guild wars? Yeah, I mean, we want these things to overlap a ton. So guild tournaments, I wrote a pretty strong spec that's fairly detailed. Got that over to Cryptomancer, and starting next week, I think we have the majority of the like core design spec written, and he's going to take on doing the guild wars planning. So I really don't want to call them guild wars. I want to call them guild tournaments because they might end up being named even something different. We'll see. But these are specifically anytime tournaments that are happening for guilds. So in my brain, they're guild tournaments, and I hope to use the term guild wars for something else down the road. So I know that we've used them interchangeably, but in my brain, I really want to. But honestly, Matt and I argue about this, so who knows where this will actually land. But the anytime tournament format for guilds is starting development phase. Now that collection power is done, the actual hardcore back-end coding is ready to begin. The design work up front that enables that so that Cryptomancer can code rather than have to design the whole thing first and then code it. The design work has all been done. The coding starts now, and and now that the land pre-sale stuff is done, Nate can start turning his attention to getting front-end designs for the guild tournaments. So, the next couple months here is going to be, yes, the land pre-sale is happening. That went live, so that stage is kind of done, and we'll be marketing and promoting that. But in terms of our core development, what we're working on basically starting Monday is guild tournaments and getting that thing live. That becomes the short term, the short term marketing and sales priority is the land pre-sale. The short term development roadmap for the core features of the game becomes the guild tournaments. So, what kind of tie-ins are there going to be? Well, we want prizes that happen in the guild tournaments to impact what you're doing in the lands. So that if you are part of some elite freaking guild, then you are going to be able to mine, harvest, craft, transport, and whatever other features that we build into this thing, refine. Like the guild will have the ability to improve how being part of the guild will improve your performance in the land, which ultimately means that you'll be able to mint the cards, like the items and spell cards, faster than everybody else, and probably cheaper than other people as well. So those are some of the first ones. We want to be careful, right? Like. We could do things where, like, if you spend a crap ton of money, suddenly everybody in your guild can just smash everybody else's face, and that just breaks. So we're trying to design things that help players do well and get sweet improvements and benefits, but not like destroy the core fighting mechanism of the game. So that's kind of the design criteria that we're using to think through that. And I think I made it through your questions. Man, it's so rare that I get to be able to pause for a moment. So yeah, we have a ton of different things that are happening. So we have the Monday announcement. I have another. That is a big marketing. That's a big new player funnel. That's like a user acquisition channel, and we're really excited about it. I have another big one that we're working with, and we're starting to put that out as well. So the riding on the coattails of the first big one will be a smaller one, but it should be a cool one that I'm pretty excited about. And we're just going to keep trying to find additional partners. But honestly, getting this first one and sort of splashing the crypto news with this, I think will help us attract the later ones because we'll have example cases that we can point to. So I'm pretty excited for that. On a different note, did something change with the DEC gather rate? Not that I know of. So yeah, I've heard that a couple times that this one was a little bit funky. So I haven't been able to pause to go look into that, but that's something that we want to do. Do you have anything on how the cooperation with Gala did so far? I don't have that off the top of my head. That's the kind of thing that I would have to ask Matt, and Matt couldn't be here this morning. So, Cause, please save that question for next week, and we can go poke in and explore that. I need a little bit more of that. Question: can we see some screenshot previews of guild tournaments? No, because Nate has to design them, and that hasn't happened yet. So that's literally going on, like that guild tournament on the back end and front end design. That starts taking priority as of Monday. So that's what we're going to do. I think players play too much this time. I don't know how to define that. How can we help you guys? Well, when the so first off, I want to say, I say this all the time, but in case you're not here at all these, I think our community is amazing. I know that you guys like to give me a crap ton of shit, and you like to hold us accountable and poke at us, and if if we're slow or there's problems or something, we hear about it, and we hear about it from 100 different angles. So that can be frustrating, but it's also great that you guys are on the ball. But the thing that like impresses me the most, or that I really love about this community, is how welcoming you are to new players, and that I think that defines the culture of who we are as a community. And our collective goal should be to get as many players into this ecosystem and into crypto as possible. So. I know at times it gets heated. There's money involved, and it's competitive, and people are going to be people, and you're gonna get angry at each other. My continuous ask is, that kind of stuff is allowed in the Discord. Just keep it out of general. And when you guys see new people, come welcome them. And I see this happen all the time. You'll see like a new person, and it'll be at the right time of day, and there's like 6 people that immediately stop and say hi. If you happen to be in the middle of a conversation when somebody joins, please interrupt your conversation to go welcome that new player, because like the number one thing that determines the success of this game is how many people are in this ecosystem. And the more that we can be kind, the more that we can be friendly, the more that we can be welcoming, that's how we really grow this thing. So that's my number one ask is keep that culture alive. That's so critical. The second piece of this is if you happen to see some news on Monday, please go out to social media and tell people. Go share it. So go get it out into the world. Let people know. Let people see it. Help talk about it. Write your thoughts on what you think it means to you and why you think it's cool for the game. Bubkey, we can't necessarily do all of that ourselves. We're a relatively small team, and this is a decentralized group. So I'm hoping that players will start seeing cool stories, say Monday, and really take it upon themselves to go blast the world with it and put it into those groups. And you probably can't run into another group and be like, hey, check out this. But I think there might be ways to couch this of like, hey, Splinterlands got an article like this. Look at what they're doing. Can we do that here? And that way you can sort of, it's not so much just blatant promotion of Splinterlands, but it's asking a question of the teams that there might be other groups. So, question: will we have any idea of what the cost of maintaining our lands and buildings may be? In advance of what? So, the way that we've put out we've put out a couple things about land. We're going to get another post out today that really covers land, but we haven't done one for what the crafting system looks like. So some of that we just haven't we haven't fully scoped it out. We haven't fully designed it, and Matt and I and Nate and others have not really reached consensus on it yet. So we got to before I can tell you what the cost is, I have to figure out what it all looks like put together. So I can't tell you what that will be yet. Are there any plans to make skins and Untamed titles tradable? Will this be part of the new planned item inventory system? Yeah, skins and I think titles too. Actually, titles are already tradable. You can move titles around. There's just no UI for it. So I know that one of our designers, Shaq, has been working on a front-end facing piece where inventory management of things that aren't just cards should be coming into life. So I don't know. I think he said what the timeline is, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. So I can't tell you when that will be. All right. Hey, we got through a bunch of these questions. There's a lot of people here. I'm glad to see so many faces. Glad to see I recognize a bunch of some whales in here. I'm really excited to see that you guys are interested and paying attention and making this important. You know, there's a bunch of people that have a bunch of cards. We all have some skin in the game here, and helping to make sure that the game spreads and helping to make sure that when people get here that they feel welcomed and they get their questions answered, and I don't know, and that we spread this news. The news is set for Monday, and hopefully this is the first of many of these kind of new user channels that we're implementing. Like I said, this is a big one. The second one is the second one's a little smaller, but it's still sizable. And then I have a third one, which isn't signed yet, but would be huge, that I'm still working on, which is bigger than the first and second one. So Cryptomancer's asking, when bear whale? So my current development plan is we have to get the guild tournaments done, and there's no that will take in the months. Maybe as much as like a full quarter, but let's see, for like a stretch goal, I'm hoping that we get guild tournaments done before the end of the year, and actually get at least one boss fight done. That's pretty aggressive, so we might not see the bear whale right at the end of December, but we've basically got through. It took us longer to do the collection power than what we wanted, but now that's done. Now we can get back to guild tournaments and boss fights. Guild tournaments is going to take a couple months, and then it's boss fights. So we're not endlessly away. I mean, we kind of overpromised a little bit, just in terms of how quick that would happen. So sorry to folks like Randolph and ironically Cryptomancer as well. I have a boss fight character. I purchased one. I'm really looking forward to Aggrodius Lightbringer slapping all of you around. I just want to make it a really hard fight, just because you guys have given me so much crap, and it would bring me great joy to know that Aggrodius Lightbringer is murdering your little monsters over and over again. Bring me great joy as a human. But all that stuff, like, as much as I want that, I want to make sure that the fights work, that the things are fun, and that we're building this correctly. So when bear whale? Well, Cryptomancer, how long is it going to take you to write guild tournaments? Which we estimate in a couple months, and then right after that, we'll go try to get our first our boss fight together. Okay, what other pieces of news? Just get the name right. What name do you want? Oh, you want the whale bear, not the bear whale. Yeah, that's okay. It is a whale bear. What other things do you guys want to know? We got maybe 14 minutes left of the AMA. I'm sorry, I had to punt on a bunch of questions. Are you happy that J6969 has sell all of his cards? I've been checking that frequently just to go see where his collection is at, and it does look like, at least in the primary or majority of counts, he's gotten rid of like basically every single card. Apparently, he has packs left. Am I happy? I mean, so the big picture is that Matt and I are pleased that people are able to come and go, and that's pretty important to the game as a whole, right? The ability to, if you're done and you want to leave, and you just want to take off, we think that that's a critical piece of this, because you can't feel comfortable buying cards if you can't feel comfortable that you can leave at a later time. So, I in my life I try to be a neutral and peaceful vessel, and if people want to come and interact and choose to be here on a voluntary basis, then I think that's great. And if people decide that this is not the place for them and they're frustrated and they don't like the direction of where we're going and they want to take off, I think that's great. I don't have, as part of being a peaceful and neutral vessel, I try not to make these things personal. So if players leave, that's okay. And if players come back, that's okay. We've seen that happen more than once with big accounts. So it's not a question of am I happy or sad or something. It's to me, it's really the question of, is the design working? That big players can come in and big players can leave. So from what I can tell, the answer to that is yes. So for that reason, I think it's okay. And then if players want to come back, then everybody that can follow the rules and sort of like be a good member of this society is always going to be welcome here. So we'll see. Okay, is there a plan to approach celebrity to endorse Splinterlands? Not really. Everything that we've done has been everything I've done on like social media or like trying to get people has basically been more or less a waste of time. So maybe that would be cool if one fell in my lap. Then sure, we could go do that. But otherwise, it's kind of not worth the effort. Just because like even getting in touch with these guys is hard, and they're not all responsive, and some celebrities like actively dislike crypto. So you need somebody that's like crypto friendly and gaming friendly, and maybe you have some good ideas or connections, but I don't, and I just so far haven't found it worth the time. But that said, we are looking at hiring a expensive PR firm that has been used for a whole bunch of other companies in the past, more along the lines of traditional gaming, but hopefully in the next week or two, we'll have some meetings lined up with them and try to do a big PR push for the end of the year. So who knows what comes of that? Oftentimes these things, we do them and we don't see like an immediate impact. And then like 3 months later, somebody's like, hey, I remember reading this thing, but then I ran into this group and now we think we could do this. And then people come contact us later. So this kind of stuff isn't immediate. It just happens along the way. Vince Vaughn, he came out as a heavy libertarian and now his career's over. I don't know. You guys don't have that many questions. We got 10 more minutes. I figured I'd be peppered more than this. Normally I'm frazzled, and here it's just trying to figure out, what else do you guys want to know? We got 10 minutes, guys. It's a nice crowd. It's good to see this many people. Thanks for being here on a Friday morning. Stoked to have you here. What's a typical Splinterlands workday like for you? Oh, God. There's nothing typical about my day. It'll be split between hard forks. Like recently, this was about a Hive engine went down for a little bit, so my brain had to go to that. And I know some people are like, hey, isn't Hive engine kind of a distraction for you? But we build so much off of this damn thing that it's pretty critical to keeping the game operating. So I don't think of those two roles as being like conflicting. I think of them as being like two critical parts. Um, but so my day could be, talking to venture capitalists. My day could be making partnerships, talking about Digicon, working with employees, designing, crafting. I got like all kinds of design papers in front of me. Um, I don't know. It's just um, trying to navigate getting as much done as quickly as possible and pushing this ecosystem as far as I humanly can are my highest criteria. And one thing I love is that no 2 days have ever looked alike, like ever. This world is totally freaking crazy. I don't know how many of you are blessed to be able to like do this full time and only crypto full time, but every single different day is so freaking crazily different. What can you tease that you were most excited about for the land post? Um, I mean, I just, I really like the whole thing that we've developed. I mean, I'm super proud of it. I like the backstory. I like the rewards that are going to go out to players that participate in this. I like, I like some of the key concepts around the mining and the crafting and how you get to make your own cards. There's a couple little surprises in there that are pretty freaking cool, and looking forward to seeing how all that will play out. So I'm going to give you a nice big non-answer because the post is due out like today. So you're just going to have to wait a couple hours. But when you get in there, you're gonna dig it. I mean, maybe you won't. Who knows? Maybe they'll say, "Oh, you're the world's worst human being, and life is doomed because of you," and that's an okay opinion. You are welcome to that. I look at this and I think, wow, this is really groundbreaking. Letting players mint their own cards is huge. Doing this as a land sale and giving all these benefits to the earliest participants in that land sale is just. I think we've built like a really cool system. And I'm excited for it, and I think the larger community might actually start paying attention because the way that these things are coming together, the timing is miraculous. Having the new player funnel or the player acquisition channel start coming in right at the time where some of the biggest sellers of cards have basically run out of cards, when the land pre-sale announcement is going up. Like, there's just so much converging in this final quarter. The collection power went live, so we cut down like how much deck we were giving to bots by like 30 million per month. It was huge. So there's just a lot of all these converging things that look, each one of them individually is cool. Collectively, it's just, I'm just stoked for our game and stoked for our community. Is it imperative that I should buy land or I can just play as usual? You can just play as usual. If you don't want anything to do with land, then you don't have to mint the cards. If you think that it's valuable to go mint the cards in this game and you have the ability to make items and spells and you have the ability to mint them and sell them, then you should participate. But if all you want to do is just battle the same way you've been battling with the future edition of items and spells, then you can skip land. I plan on participating in land. I think it's cool. I like these kinds of games. I'm designing games that, I wish the crafting worked like this. I wish that I could harvest resources and have them be valuable. I played Clash of Clans for like 4 years. And I stopped when I found crypto, making something along the lines of like a crypto Clash of Clans. It won't be exactly the same. We got other things that we want to incorporate, but the idea that you were, making things in the game, like using your lands and your mines to harvest resources and make stuff, that's really fun. That's really cool. And realizing that it's not all going to be wasted in a stupid game, but like put into a game where you can actually build value, that to me is groundbreaking. So I'm stoked for that. Titles and achievements. I know that we've been talking about that. I don't have it in my brain when they're going to be around. I'm sure that we'll tie land into that. I just don't know where we are with the titles and achievements. Did you find out whether an SBT light shop on NFT showroom instead of the in-game shop would be a viable midterm solution till we get the proper fan art skin shop, since much of the infrastructure is already existing? I did ask Riaz, and I think his answer was no, that would be quite hard. So, but he gives funky answers. So I don't take all of his answers as just a straight yes or no, like he often implies them to be. Code can do anything. So that's on my list. It fell off my radar because of the hard fork, but I'll look back into that again this coming week. You must diggity giggity. What is the Abamat doing lately? Is he not too much busy with support and annoying things like crypto payments? I want to see him as 100% dev and see the other techies for first, second line of support. He should be protected from the time wasters. Matt has been doing everything he can to get the entire platform ready to scale. That I would say are his he takes over. He comes right at the very end. The buck stops with Matt. So he's coding things to make it so that if the game, let's just say that the game suddenly doubled, tripled, quadrupled, quintupled, 10x or whatever in a short time period, that the game itself would be able to handle that. He's making sure that as we're putting together the land expansion and getting things live on the site, that everything works in production. So it's more of like a management role than a direct coding role but he does do direct coding. It's just all the like biggest picture stuff is what Matt is handling. So he doesn't get into like, actually he sort of does, but he's not the one coding like, I want this one word and this one button to do this thing. He'll explain what these things ought to be doing and explain the calls and the posts. They're like the JSONs that ought to be there, but he doesn't have to code every single line himself. We can find other people that can do that. But what he needs to do is make sure that everything works, it's all scalable, and really that big picture side of things. Because he's good at it, and we're going to need it. So that's where he's been putting his time. It's almost like we're anticipating a fair amount of growth to start happening around here. And like recently there was a back-end change where we're not creating an account for every single we're not creating a blockchain account. We're creating a like a Splinterlands account, but it's not a full blockchain account until they pay. And again, that's kind of in line with this approach of we got to get ready for scaling. So those are some of the things that we've been working on, and when I say we, I mean Matt. So that's where we've been spending our time, and by we I mean Matt. So that's an hour. I think I'm going to call it quit because you guys aren't peppering me with 8 million questions. What is I didn't see that other one. Second time question, what's the active player base looking like? I mean, we hit 10,000 monthly active users for the first time. That was back in September. So, that's an all-time high. 10,000 monthly active users. That's amazing. Here's our little game in this little niche community without some of like the biggest things promoting us, and we still hit 10,000 monthly active users. That just blows my mind. So like normal, I'm going to go tell you guys, I'm very grateful for this community. I'm excited for the future. Lands, I'm just so stoked about. I feel like we've cleaned up some of the waste in our ecosystem in terms of DEC payouts. I feel like we have strong user acquisition channels that aren't months away. They are Monday. There's additional ones that are coming after this first announcement, and I imagine that the first announcement makes additional announcements that much easier to come by. So overall, I'm just really excited for this game, for this community. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished, and I'm really proud of the culture that we have here, the engagement that we have from our players, and I'm really hopeful for the future, because I just think there's a lot of things converging right now that all seem fantastic to me, and here's to the rest of this. We keep rotating the times, Bub. So I know that sometimes work better for some than others, but we have lots and lots of folks. So anyways, thank you all. I appreciate your time. Thanks for being here. Excited to work with you guys, and should be a good year end. I'll see you. I guess I need to set a time. I guess I need my calendar open. Next week, we did a late one. I guess we should go back to mid-afternoon. So why don't we go do, we'll push it back a little bit. We'll go push it to 11 a.m. So our next one, the next AMA for Friday the 23rd will be 11 a.m. All right, that's what I got. And shoot, one announcement I forgot to make is that Digicon is likely to be pushed back. That's not really our fault. The company that made some promises in terms of when things would be ready is behind on them. So it's kind of hard for us to go get the if the convention space isn't ready, it's hard for us to host a convention. So we're gonna push that back a little bit. So that'll probably be in November rather than the first one in October. So when we get there, but I don't have all the full details of when the things that they promised us will actually be here. So I don't have an exact date yet. So today had more more I don't knows or I'm punting than what I normally like to do. But again, because this post is coming out later today, and I don't want to spoil that, and you'll get lots of new information about the land. So keep your eyes out for that. Anyways, thanks all. That's going to be the end of this recording, and I'll see you around in the Splinterlands. Thanks so much. Bye.